Hey guys, it's been a while. By while, I mean like a couple weeks maybe. So to start off February, the month February, I wanted to explain this artwork with y'all, and by explain I mean like you know go through the Photoshop file, the project file, and give you a tour like what goes on around here. So to start it off, let's just turn everything off and we'll go through it step by step. So for the first layer we have the background. It's actually merged, so I lassoed the background here first, and then this was a separate layer, and then the background sky was another layer. You can see a couple of cloud brushes, some soft brush air like sky gradients, and yeah, some leaf textures for the grass thingy. It's not too important, you'll always blur it out anyway, and have some lighting action going on. And this is a hard light layer that gives the sunset light feel. And then for the just happened. Okay, so this is all clipped, so we have to start like one by one for all these. Okay, so yeah, let me just turn them off individually. Okay, so the first thing, this is the background wooden frame, and I did it in one layer, and then I lasso tooled and pen tooled the edges, and then brushed them individually. This is simple stuff with the textured brush, no sorcery necessary to pull this off, pretty easy. This is the hair background, like the hair that needed to be in behind. This is the mask for the basic face. So once you have your sketch, I used to have a sketch here, and once you're done with the sketch, I use the pen tool or lasso to get a general shape of the face, and on top of that we will add up. So to give this context, there should be a sketch layer. Yes, so this is the sketch layer, and this is all the way up because this needs to show. So this is the basis I needed to build upon. So on top of this, first we have a multiply layer. I'm pretty sure it came after, but I organized it this way. So this is for some general shadows, another multiply layer for some light skin tony shadows. Never just pick the same color and then make it dark. Try to use the environment. If it's like you can make it warmer or cooler, whatever you do, just make it more interesting. Don't keep it on the same stage of color. If you keep it on the same color, there's no variation, and it just ends up looking like really boring. And then for the other one, it's probably the most impactful layer. So this is a straight up normal layer. This is like literally putting like direct paint on, like opaque paint on, to give it the first like basic form, and those other two layers complement it. And since it's normal, this will overlap a lot of the shading done here, so you can be really crazy with these two layers, and then this will correct some of the mistakes. And after that, there's another multiplier layer on top. What this does is basically puts more softness to these hard shadows, because not everything is a hard edge. For the face specifically, there's a lot of soft shadows as well, in contrast to like the other background where there's mostly hard layers. So on top of it, we have another normal layer. What it does is like fixes the lip area a bit, gives it a little more brightness, and then it gives the eyelids a little more detail, opaque stuff. And then to top it all off, this is our highlight layer. This is also in normal. So what this does is basically just gives it a little bit final glow. The style is kept pretty simple, not like too painterly or anything. It's just basic stuff. And then this is the mask for the shirt. On top, which we have some hard shadows. So I don't know if you'll know how to do this, but when you right click and then release clipping mask. So when you make it a clip mask, whatever you do, it doesn't go out of your mask. So making a mask is always step one. For the background, for the trees, for the character, always make masks and then carry on. So this does the hard shadows with a color burn. Interesting choice. I don't really do color burn. I think I meant to do multiply. Either works here, but color burn seemed to be a bit darker here. And then after that, we have a normal layer, but this one is like pretty opaque itself, but not enough. So the brush had pressure sensitivity on, so even if we literally overlapped it, you can still see the shadow work behind it because it's on multiply. And on top of it we have the stripes. So this was done by a normal layer, just with a basic round brush, and then I locked the opacity here and then put shadow on it. Basically took a darker color and just colored over it with like pressure sensitivity on. Stop Photoshop. With the pressure sensitivity on. After that, this is the hair silhouette, and this is also locked in place, and I would be putting stuff on top of it. So for this I used a textured brush. I believe it was this one. So just took a color, and then what I did was basically just, is it this one or wasn't? So this layer is locked, so that's why I can't draw over it. So it was just basically just strokes of like this and then like this. So once you combine them fast enough, it turns into this hair texture thingy. So on top of that we have the hair clips. So this was all like, first you do the base color and then you lock the layer and then shade it however you want, because it's not going out of place. I used the lasso tool a lot for this. And then finally our line art. As you can see in the final image, the line art is barely visible. Like it doesn't have any like total definitions. It's just there to finish some things up. You shouldn't, I mean, there's no real way to do it. It depends on the style, but for me, I think these days I add the eye area, the nostrils, and the lip and the eyebrows. Only these things need actual hard lines. And for the shirt, I kept that as well. And then this is the eye highlight, which is white. And I put the whole thing into a group. And then I made a copy of the group, and then I merged the whole thing, because what I'm gonna do next is basically some finishing touches, and keeping a backup of your layers is important, because if you do messed up here, like if you do color correction with everything combined and you find that there are certain things you need to select or need to change, for example, you need this color, but you need to go back and select your hair only for some finishing stuff, so you can just control select and you can just go back to this and then retouch the hair if needed, which is real handy for client work. For personal, it doesn't really matter, but even then it's a good practice to have. And this just adds those edges of the hair, this line, so it makes it less clippy and like more lively, like actual hair. So once you're done with that, this is a hard light layer that adds glow. And then after that, it's color correction and just finishing touches. So I just took everything and then put it into one layer, and then did some color correction and then some darker shadows to give it a little bit of contrast, and then finished it up with signature. And over here we have the actual reference that I used to draw this. So as you can see, this is how I do a photo study. And yeah, basically that's my process. I get a rough sketch, get everything clipped in, and then use tons of layers to like work within those masks that you've established with your sketches, and then keep a very little part of the sketch itself. So hope you guys enjoyed it, and let me know if you want to see more like this, and I will see you maybe next week. Bye bye. Don't forget to subscribe and like, comment, and all that stuff. Peace.